Forget the pretty mermaids and fairy tales. Reality awaits you in the abyss, 1,000 times more brutal, raw, and terrifying. In the next few minutes, you won't believe your eyes. This isn't CGI, these are shaky, raw footage recorded by the very people who accidentally trespassed into the ocean's forbidden zone. What will you see? Distorted corpses washing ashore. The heart-wrenching screams of strange creatures dragged out of the water. And the moment, a beast. In a frenzy of strength, tears through a steel net to escape right under the fishermen's noses. They have been there for millennia, lurking just beneath us, watching us, and sometimes getting caught by us. Take a deep breath and brace yourself, because after this video, every time you look out at the black expanse of the ocean, you'll wonder, is there a pair of eyes looking back at me? The North Sea struggle. Under the gray sky and the dismal daylight of the North Sea, an eerie struggle is unfolding right on a slick, rocking ship deck. 3 burly fishermen in protective gear are using all their might to restrain a creature with an utterly bizarre physique. It's a white, flabby mass of a body, thrashing wildly in despair. This sight, instead of bringing a feeling of triumph, sows an unspeakable sorrow in the viewer's heart. The creature doesn't appear to be aggressively attacking, it's just trying to weakly squirm and contort itself to escape the hardened hands and find its way back to the ocean. Watching its panicked attempts to flee from the overwhelming human strength, one can't help but feel a deep sense of pity. Many suggest this is merely an AI creation, yet the heavy mechanical movements, the gasping breaths, and the raw physical interaction under the clear light in the video are too authentic, chilling anyone who harbors doubt. The grotesque specimen in the laboratory. If the struggle on the deck left a big question mark regarding the creature's power, the following eerily quiet scene in a secret laboratory at the Vladivostok Oceanographic Institute, Russia, will bring 100-fold more naked horror. Under the cold surgical light, a dark, shriveled specimen lies motionless on a sterile white operating table. Unlike any fish, this creature possesses a gaunt upper body with a rib cage clearly visible beneath its gray, wrinkled, mummy-like skin. As the camera pans down, we see an elongated tail with a jagged, rough dorsal fin running along the spine, reminiscent of prehistoric reptiles. But the moment that sends the deepest chill down the spine is when the expert lifts its head, a contorted face with no nose, just 2 dark sockets, and a mouth full of razor-sharp fangs. Its cloudy, lifeless eyes stare directly into the lens like a silent challenge sent to modern science. The tragedy of the mothers. Moving away from the deadly cold of the lab, the scorching sun on a desolate beach on the Baja California Peninsula, Mexico, reveals a heartbreaking, earthly tragedy. Lying motionless on the hot yellow sand are not monsters, but 2 beautiful creatures with shimmering jade and blue fishtails. However, what truly grips the viewer's heart is their abnormally large, round bellies, the unmistakable sign of expectant mothers nearing term. Perhaps they tried to swim into shallow waters to find a safe haven for their newborns. But the rapidly receding tide turned their paradise into a death trap. Seeing them sprawled out, exhausted, their long hair matted with sand and seashells on their chests like final ornaments. We see no terror, only the extreme pain of motherhood rejected by nature. Further out, near the water's edge, another one of their kind is desperately trying to drag itself back to the sea, but it seems every effort is too late. The scream in Iceland. Putting aside the profound sorrow left by the exhausted mothers on the hot Mexican sand, the following chaotic footage off the cold coast of Iceland will make you ache with the brutality of the survival battle. Amidst the gray sea, the camera captures 2 fishermen struggling to subdue a bizarre creature just caught in their net. It doesn't have flowing hair, but a completely bald, emaciated body, so thin that its ribs are visible beneath pale, whitish skin. The most haunting detail is its expression, a distorted face, mouth wide open, as if screaming in utter despair and fear at being hauled out of the water. Seeing that frail, weak body violently restrained against the boat's railing by rough hands. The viewer doesn't perceive the threat of a monster, but only a miserable being trembling before the overwhelming power of humans. Eyes in the cave, leaving the fierce survival struggle on the surface of the Icelandic Sea. Let's dive into the breathtaking stillness of the underwater caves in Gozo. Malta, a renowned diver's paradise that also conceals countless dangers. In the weak beam of a flashlight sweeping across the dark crevices, the diver is suddenly stunned to encounter a ghostly, pale face staring back from within a rock hollow. This is not an eel or a grouper, but a creature with human-like features and deeply sunken, haunting eyes. The moment of eye contact freezes like an eternity before the strange creature suddenly darts away with the speed of a torpedo, leaving the diver panicked in a chaotic cloud of bubbles. This image strongly recalls the legend of the Nereids in Greek mythology, sea nymphs living in silver caves in the deep, who always evade humans but are ready to unleash terror if disturbed. Temptation at the Blue Lagoon. If the cave monster filled you with dread, making you want to avoid the ocean, the following beautiful footage at the Blue Lagoon, Cyprus brings a completely opposite feeling, a deadly temptation, amidst the endless blue ocean and the bright golden sun. A young man recording a video on a yacht is suddenly startled by an uninvited guest emerging from the water. This is not a thorny beast, but a creature of breathtaking, stunning beauty. She has long, wet brown hair, porcelain white skin, and a sharp, alluring face. However, as the camera pans lower, viewers are truly overwhelmed by the magnificent, bright jade-green fishtail gracefully undulating beneath the surface. She stares at the lens with cold yet captivating eyes, showing no fear or attempt to flee like the previous creatures. This overly perfect beauty and unusual composure make one wonder, is this an elite cosplay performance in the middle of the ocean? Or a genuine siren using her beauty to lure prey into a trap? The cruel capture, in stark contrast to the intoxicating free beauty of the mermaid in Cyprus. The brutal reality that just unfolded at a cold military port in Hobart, Tasmania, shatters all such illusions. No longer clandestine footage. The camera captures a close-up moment of a sea patrol team in specialized gear restraining a flesh-and-blood mermaid right on the jetty. The girl, with her long, damp brown hair and stunning emerald-green fishtail, is tightly bound in a coarse net. The most haunting detail is her distraught face and wide-open mouth, crying out desperately. This is not the growl of a beast, but the heart-wrenching cry for help of a young woman in extreme panic as her life and freedom are being stripped away. Seeing her desperate eyes fixed toward the camera amidst the circle of cold-hearted humans, one cannot help but feel a pang of sorrow and wonder. What tragic fate awaits this beautiful being behind the closed doors of a laboratory? The agonizing death, leaving the suffocating, violent atmosphere at the Tasmanian military port. The camera takes us to a paradise beach in the Palau archipelago in the Pacific, where the waves have just returned a painful secret to the shore. Lying amongst a pile of plastic debris, beer cans, and rotten branches is the corpse of a mermaid-like creature with gray-blue skin, strangely harmonious with the color of the sea. Not magnificent like a fairy tale, this creature carries the tragic beauty of a brutal reality, its slender body covered with perfectly layered fish scales, its sharp hip fins now lying motionless, cold amidst the ugly discards of human civilization. Her face is closed, serene as if she is deeply asleep, recalling the legend of the unfortunate Nereids who often wash ashore to warn humans about the ocean's wrath. The image of a living legend dead next to plastic waste is a powerful visual shock, making us wonder, is our own pollution silently exterminating the planet's most ancient species? The ghost beneath the bridge. If the motionless corpse in Palau brought a deathly stillness, the amateur footage recorded along the Vistula River, Poland, will give you goosebumps with its chilling vitality. In the gray scene beneath the old concrete bridge pillars, the shaky camera accidentally catches a moss-green shape huddled on a rock. At first glance, It looks exactly like a bronze statue covered in moss. Until strange sounds, a piercing shriek like a dolphin frequency but distorted, emanate from the water. Immediately, the statue reacts. It turns its head, revealing a gaunt spine and slick, amphibious-like skin, without hesitation. The strange creature awkwardly but incredibly quickly slides down the rock, darting straight toward the mysterious call. In a flash, it plunges into the murky water and disappears completely, leaving behind widening ripples and a terrifying question: how many such creatures are hiding right beneath the bridges we cross every day? The Mississippi Swamp Monster. The next video, recorded in a remote swamp area along the Mississippi River, USA, shatters all skepticism with the most naked and violent physical encounter. No longer blurry, distant footage. The camera lens this time takes us right into the epicenter of a frantic struggle. Two local men, one in camouflage, the other in a red plaid shirt, are straining with all their might to pull something incredibly heavy from the murky water onto the muddy bank. It's a creature with an utterly shocking appearance. The upper body has the form of a male with sickly, pale white skin, a stark contrast to the river's gray-brown color. Long, matted black hair hangs around its face, but what sends shivers down the spine are the pointy, elf-like ears and the contorted face, mouth agape to reveal a threatening set of jagged teeth. Its lower body is not legs, but completely transformed into a long, sturdy fishtail, covered in sharp, flawless jade-green scales, entangled in the fishing net. The creature appears to be in a state of extreme agitation, muscles bulging beneath its pale skin as it is forcefully restrained and dragged ashore by the two men. There is no romance here, only the roughness of mud, heavy panting, and a bizarre reality unfolding right before our eyes. A monstrous hybrid species previously only seen in horror movies is now being captured by humans. The desperate cry for help, leaving the distant seas. The camera lens brings us back to the harsh reality in America's backyard, along the Ohio River, Kentucky, on a cold winter day. No longer blurry footage. The scene before us is so real and cruel that it makes viewers hold their breath. Two local men, one dressed in hunter's camouflage, the other in the characteristic red plaid shirt, are straining to pull a heavy net from the murky water onto the muddy bank. What they drag up is not a giant catfish, but a bizarre creature that makes anyone who sees it shudder. It possesses a human-like upper body, but its skin is an ominous cyan blue. Its ears are pointed, and its matted black hair hangs down. Its face is contorted, its eyes bulging, and its mouth is a dark, gaping hole as if screaming in a frenzy of rage at being dragged out of the water. The visual contrast peaks at the magnificent fishtail behind it. The emerald green scales are brilliantly clean and perfectly flawless, ridiculously out of place against the filthy, muddy background. The cold, decisive attitude of the two men as they haul the creature ashore without fear or hesitation suggests a terrifying reality for these river dwellers. Has confronting and dealing with such mutated monsters become a routine affair? War spoils in Nigeria, if the previous captures were isolated incidents. The following overwhelming images on the coast of Lagos, Nigeria, will prove the power of unity against the abominations of the ocean. Under the red sunset signaling an approaching night, the camera captures a group of 5 to 6 sturdy local fishermen straining to haul a massive war spoil from the sea onto their boat. Not a shark or a whale. What they are confronting is a creature of unbelievably long size, with the lower body being a gray, slick, heavy fishtail. Its caudal fin is wide and blade sharp, carving into the sand as it is violently dragged. These men show no fear or hesitation. One grips the head, another embraces the body. They coordinate smoothly and use brute muscle strength to subdue the monster. There is no sign of compassion, only the iron-hard determination of people who consider capturing this mysterious creature a necessary task. Watching the way they restrain and overpower the giant creature onto the boat's railing, we are chilled to realize in this wild ocean, humans are the most terrifying predators. Norwegian nightmares. Before recovering from the brutal daytime hunts, the most primitive fear strikes as night swallows the cold, barren sea in the pitch-dark space, where visibility is limited to a few meters of water. The fishermen on the small vessel suddenly feel abnormal vibrations right next to the boat's hull, deciding to confront the darkness. A crew member turns on a powerful flashlight and shines it straight down into the sea, and the moment the beam cuts through the water, the nightmare materializes. A white, pale creature, like a drowned corpse, suddenly shoots up from the abyss with horrifying speed. It thrusts its grotesque face close to the lens, stunning anyone who sees it. A bald head, soulless black eyes, and especially the ears, which have mutated into two huge, menacing membranous fins flared out. Its dark, gaping mouth seems to be shrieking an attacking roar, not a scream of fear. The crew's frantic shouts mix with the chaotic, flashing lights, creating a scene of utter pandemonium. The camera shakes violently and then cuts out, leaving a haunting question: what is lurking beneath the vessel? And do they have any escape now that they have disturbed its sleep? The secret of the Maldives cave, leaving the nightmares on the water's surface behind. Let's dive deep into the seemingly peaceful coral reefs of the Maldives archipelago, where sunlight piercing through the crystal-clear water accidentally reveals a shocking secret of creation. During an underwater cave exploration, the diver's camera recorded the moment they approached an entity that has never been catalogued. Hiding beneath the coral arch is not a fish or a sea turtle, but a creature with distinct human-like features, long flowing hair, and pale blue-gray skin. The most shocking detail is that this creature is clutching two tiny infants to its chest, all three possessing the bizarre hybrid characteristics of human and fish. When the diver, driven by overwhelming curiosity at this historic discovery, bravely swims closer and extends a hand with the intention of touching the living specimen, the female creature's reaction is instantaneous. Her eyes snap open, her face distraught, her mouth agape as if letting out a silent warning scream underwater. Without hesitation, she clutches her two children, powerfully thrashes her long fishtail, and shoots away, leaving behind a chaotic cloud of bubbles. Her decisive flight and terrifying swimming speed demonstrate the high level of vigilance of an intelligent species that seeks to avoid contact with humans at all costs. The horrific net tier, in complete contrast to the silent evasion deep in the Maldives. What unfolds on the surface of the Bering Sea, Alaska, is an explosion of fear and direct chaos. Under the high-powered headlights tearing through the stormy night, a group of crab fishermen is confronting the worst nightmare of their careers at sea. The winch groans, pulling up a heavy blue net, but inside is not seafood, but a gray, human-like beast frantically clawing to escape. It shows no sign of weakness, but growls with a wide, sharp-toothed mouth, its black eyes staring menacingly at the people surrounding it. The drama climaxes as the creature uses extraordinary muscle strength to tear through the net and lands with a thud on the soaking wet deck. It pushes its hands against the deck, raises its head, and lets out a piercing shriek that causes the fishermen in yellow protective gear to retreat in extreme panic. It does not attack, but its movement is unbelievably fast in a single instant. The huge dark shadow darts past the boat's railing and plunges back into the black depths of the sea, leaving the men standing frozen, still clutching their clubs, but utterly helpless against the wild power that just escaped. This incident is a stark warning when you pull something up from the darkness. Be sure you have the strength to hold it. The 15 clips just shown have taken us from the pitiful compassion for fractured motherhood to the raw terror of a creature's savage strength. But as the screen fades to black, the biggest question remains, is this the pinnacle of visual deception technology? Or are these rare leaks from an underworld that coexists with humanity? Your reason might dismiss it all as fake. But is your intuition that most primitive shudder whispering that these creatures truly exist, breathing and multiplying right beneath the ships we sail? Don't let that doubt pass in silence. Scroll down to the comments and tell us, what was the moment that gave you goosebumps and made you believe it was the most real? The debate below will surely be as intense as what just unfolded on the screen. And if you are someone who doesn't accept safe answers, hit that subscribe button immediately. Because what you saw today was just the opening waves. The real storm with darker secrets and more grotesque life forms from the abyss is still waiting for you in the next video. Don't miss it.